Hello to anyone who may be watching this. This is Bible Know How, place where I'd like to talk about biblical knowledge and how it applies to your everyday life. And today, I want to talk about, I guess you can say, spiritual matters. You know, have you ever tried talking to someone about biblical things and you keep it simple and the person or persons, they just can't grasp it? No matter how you spin it, no matter how you um, reword something, they just can't grasp it. And I want to talk about how there's a reason for that. So I'm going to just dive right into it. And I want to start by reading two scriptures, or two different scriptures, from one from the Old Testament and one from the New Testament. And the first one is going to be Hosea. It's going to be Hosea 14 and 9. And it says, "Let whoever is wise understand these things, and whoever is insightful recognize them. For the ways of the Lord are right, and the righteous walk in them, but the rebellious stumble in them." And then when you go over to 1 Corinthians 2:14, it says, "But the person without the Spirit does not recognize what comes from God's Spirit, because it is foolishness to him. He is not able to understand. He's not able to understand it, since it is evaluated spiritually." Okay. So 1 Corinthians 2:14 talks about how those that don't have the Spirit of God, they stumble over the word of the Lord. Well, it doesn't actually say stumble, but it says those who don't have the Spirit of the Lord, they don't understand spiritual matters. So that's why I said, today I wanted to talk about spiritual matters. The righteous walk in the ways of the Lord, and therefore God's ways, they're not a stumbling block to those who are righteous, those who are following the Lord, those who are seeking him. God's way or God's word is not a stumbling block to those people. Well, to the wicked, it's a stumbling block. And if a person does not have God's Spirit, if they don't have God's Spirit guiding him, that person is not going to understand that which is from God. It doesn't matter if that person is filled with worldly knowledge. It doesn't matter if that person is a professor. Doesn't matter what their background is. No knowledge or wisdom from man will ever be able to compare to the wisdom of God. And if God has blinded a person and has determined that that person's not going to be able to understand something, then that person's not going to be able to understand it unless they humble themselves, open their eyes, and allow God to come into their life and give them discernment and godly wisdom. So that's why sometimes when you are talking to someone and they just can't grasp it, and it can be in a simple way, and you're confused, like, I explained it well. You can explain it as well as you want to, but if that person has already rejected the Lord, they don't want his there's no way they're going to understand it. But when you humble yourself, you submit to God, oh, God will give you wisdom, unspeakable wisdom of his word that you normally would not have. And that's going to wrap it up for today's video, just a short video on spiritual matters. And here's to hoping that everybody will have a great rest of their day, and take care, everybody.